Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. We got AJ and Rudo coming to you live from Avalanche Training Camp. Day 2 in the books. Another fun day. We have a big old Josh Manson interview for you in a little bit here, but before that, we'll get into some of our thoughts on the day of training camp. Starting off with good crowd today. They were popping. Lots of oohs and ahs every time, especially the second session.
Spirited crowd.
Yeah. Good to have the good crowd vibes, even at a training camp day.
It used to be like this, man. Back before Jared Bednar was the coach, and training camp was largely just, all right, we're breaking this whole roster into multiple teams, and they're just going to scrimmage the entire time, and they just played just regular hockey.
Yep.
And they saved the drills for not training camp, and fans could stand down around the glass, and there was way, 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 way more accessibility to it. It used to be very different. The crowd used to be a lot more fun, and so it was nice to get a little bit of that old school feel today.
Yeah, there was some good vibes there. The groups were swapped today, so Group 2 from yesterday went first as Group 1 today. There were a couple of other changes, too. They put Taze and Makar in the same group to put them together. That was the only real major change that they made, though, to the groups. So nothing too crazy on that front. Getting into today's Group 1, which was the top line of Nelson, Lehkonen, Landeskog. There is so much, I don't know if I want to call it buzz necessarily, but there's a lot of conversation around Gabe Landeskog's first training camp back from his injury, right? And it's not just the crowd, although the crowd does talk about it plenty, the pundits like us. Yeah. But also around the team itself. Everyone you talk to from the team you can tell they're genuinely excited to have Gabe Landeskog back in the lineup.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, we've spent, 3 days now?
Yeah.
Talking to all the other abs about it.
Yeah.
And then you had a conversation with him today after practice.
Go watch that video on YouTube.
It's different, yeah. He's a fan favorite for a reason, all the different things that he brings to the ice. You also kind of forget just how good that guy is.
Yep,
because we've always talked, he's good defensively, he plays a heavy game, he's physical, he's a great leader, emotional maturity, he's the connective tissue between the coaching staff and the locker room. All the intangible stuff and some of the more nuanced on-ice stuff, and then you see him at training camp through 2 days. He's just rolling down the ice, making great passes, picking corners, and you're like, I kind of forgot that this guy's,
pretty good. Does all right at the hockey stuff.
Yeah, this is a 30-goal scorer in the NHL.
It's true. If he scores 30 this year, the Avs are going to be really, really good. I'll put it to you that way.
They're going to be anyway.
You might be right on that front. We were having a conversation earlier today, which I think was an interesting one. Artturi Lehkonen is pretty clearly the Avs' 6th best forward now.
Mm-hmm.
I only bring it up because last year there were times where he was by far the Avs' best forward.
Yeah, probably second best.
McKinnon's all ever present, sure, fair enough.
But yes, I mean he had 27 goals through he misses the first, I think, 16-ish
something like
games
that,
of the season, somewhere in there. That actually might have been Nichushkin. Whatever. He misses the first handful of games, and then he scores 27 goals in 50 some odd games, and then he goes the last 15 games and doesn't score a goal.
Yep. And
in between those two stretches, the MIA to just a shooting percentage regression.
Yeah. It was coming.
He was so good, and he was scoring in so many different ways. He's never been a consistent, pick a corner. He's going to outshoot the goaltender. He's a lot of tipped pucks, rebounds, putaways, stand right in front of the net, average goal distance.
Steven Gerrard lob goal, the guy in the playoffs, totally on purpose, 100%.
Right. Absolutely, that was the shooting regression, getting back in his favor. But yeah, with Lehkonen, you're talking about he's such a jack of all trades for you, but offensively, no, he's nowhere near as gifted as the other 5 guys who are in this top 6.
Yep.
And last year he had to do a lot of heavy lifting. Nichushkin missing games for suspension, for injury. Landeskog didn't play, and then Jonathan Duran was in their top 6, missed a lot of games, about half the season with injury. So yeah, you are, Casey Middlestat was there. Brock Nelson didn't even exist yet.
Yep.
So, you are talking about like I mean, I guess there was also Mikko Rantanen / Marty Necas at the right wing there. But yeah, I mean, you are talking like Arturi Lehkonen was undeniably a top 3 forward for them last season. And going in right now, just based on offensive ability, your 6th best forward.
And I want to bring this up because we talked about this yesterday at the end of the show too, where, yes, when you look at the depth chart for wing number 5, wing number 6, those, if the Avs suffer injuries, they aren't necessarily that deep. But their core lineup looks pretty darn solid deep top to bottom.
Yeah, and you do have what we're seeing at this training camp is a battle royale for depth jobs.
Yep.
All the depth forwards are trying to, Matt Steinberg, Ivan, Nikita Prishchapov, Zakhar Bardakov, even a guy like Jason Polin, a guy that we've talked a little bit about. These guys are all battling for ice time and being on the pecking order when multiple injuries hit, and then when LOC comes back in November, who's the odd man out, and what's, whatever. But at wing, you do see Victor Olofsson, Ross Colton provide you 2 guys who have been successful inside of a top 6.
Yep.
At wing. If one of Nathan McKinnon or Brock Nelson gets hurt, you're in trouble.
That's a problem.
You're in trouble. But I say this every year. Who isn't?
If anyone that loses their top center is in trouble.
Yeah, it's basically like Edmonton is the only team that's like, we can survive that.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
It's I think why a lot of us believe the Avs can be really good this year. We're not just blowing smoke there. It's because of how solid that core lineup looks for this hockey team.
Yeah, and on paper, when you're just like, you could talk about, their shortcomings are in depth, and yeah,
so is
fair.
Depth is the place to have a shortcoming that is least impactful. Like nothing against depth guys and all of that, but would you rather be missing a 2C or would you rather be missing a 4C?
Right, like Florida didn't win back-to-back cups because their 14th and 15th forwards were better than Edmonton's.
Right.
That's not what drives the bus. It helps keep you afloat when you need be, but that's not the big consistent difference.
It's not going to get you over the hump for sure.
Yeah, and with Colorado this year, we are looking at this lineup and saying, man, we feel so good about it. And I think a lot of it, yes, whoever's playing with Nathan McKinnon is going to look good. Both Val Nichushkin and Marty Necas did look good.
Today.
We'll talk about that next period, but Landeskog and Nelson look like they have
something there.
Really solid chemistry right away. And Lehkonen looks to me more of like a misfit right now. Yeah, I think when you get into actual hockey situations and he starts doing all those Lecky things that we love so much,
it'll be fine.
It's going to make way more sense. But right now, in largely in just like drills and very specific situations where he's not going all out and he's not hitting people and he's not changing the game,
his best stuff's not going to come out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not the environment for him to really pop, and he doesn't.
Yep.
But Landeskog and Nelson are.
True.
I liked Brock Nelson a lot more today than I did yesterday, and Landeskog was great both days.
I had my hype conversation yesterday. I'll leave it there. I feel the same way today I did about it yesterday.
I mean, I joked in my written piece yesterday. P.S. Go read it. He's going to win the Hart Trophy. So
let's go. I don't know if I'm quite that high on it, but I'm down.
So you're a hater?
Yeah, I guess compared to that, I'm a hater.
Right. Rudo, confirmed Landy hater. Great. I'll let him know tomorrow that's where you feel about it.
Well, I already interviewed him today, so we're good. He can hate me now.
Oh, we won't talk to him tomorrow because he's not skating.
Yeah. But by the way,
you're off the hook.
Don't freak out tomorrow. Bednar did say the plan was for Landy to not skate tomorrow.
Yeah, pre-planned.
So when someone tweets, "Where's Landy?" Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He's not going to skate tomorrow. He's skating Sunday.
Yeah, he will play in the DU game.
Yep. So
if you're
making ticket decisions on preseason games, Landy will be at the DU game.
He did say almost everybody is playing because they're playing 2 games within 4 hours.
They barely have enough bodies.
Right. I would imagine you're going to get to see a good lineup no matter which game you choose to go to.
True enough. Unless the Avs skirt the veteran rule again this year.
Which they have been known to get awfully close to.
Let's get into some more of the meat of this Group 1. That second line, Bardakov, Kelly, Kiviranta, is the presumed fourth line, or at least the heir apparent to the fourth line. I thought for Kelly, he looked great today.
Yeah, I liked Kelly the most on that line. With Kiviranta is kind of more of the same.
Yeah.
and we talk about this, like if you're a really good defensive player, like these very specific situational drills is not where you're going to be like,
true,
I got this. Puck skill is really what pops here.
Oh, wow, a 3-on-1 line rush. Yes, this is my element for sure.
They did do some 5v5 today.
They did.
It was more of a controlled 5v5 and not like
but it was
go play.
It was game-ish.
Yeah, exactly. It's way more than the 3-on-1 where you're I know every year there are people like, God, these goalies are getting lit up, and it's like it's 3-on-0 and the guy from the middle of the ice is just picking whatever corner he wants. Like, yeah.
There's a reason we don't talk about the goalies too much at these things.
Yeah, we really, and you really shouldn't,
yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
You wait for the preseason games and then we'll talk about them. But I did like Parker Kelly a lot on that line. I thought he just he's got that energy to him. He brings a certain spark. I think he's going to be, they know he's much better at wing than at center.
Yeah. Despite what he says in his interviews.
You signed the contract, man. You don't have to continue to pretend. He's got 4 years of security.
The security's there.
Yeah, it's there, man. We don't need you to lie to us. He I think is going to be a really big key to the bottom six because I think right now with the Colton, Drury, Olofsson alignment on the third and however they might mix it up.
Sure.
But you don't have like a defensive line that you're like, this is our stopper. And I think that they really need their fourth line to be one that goes out there and says, you're not scoring against us. And Parker Kelly's going to be a big part of that. Parker Kelly at wing is going to be a big part of that.
Like, in my head, my assumption is when you see the Avs get late in games, the lead this year, they're just going to have Drury take the defensive zone faceoffs with the fourth line, and that'll be that. But
when LOC comes back, I would agree. Until that happens, I imagine it's going to be like, well, is the net pulled yet?
Yeah, I mean, I
then
don't know, yeah.
It'll be like Drury, McKinnon.
Right. You'll put the dudes who can shoot at 200 feet into the net out there. But.
And then you want your face-off guy and Drury out there for it.
Exactly.
For sure. So, yeah, no, I think it was a good day. I didn't like Zakhar Bardakov as much today. Something about his skating looked
weird,
awkward to me. It didn't feel as smooth as it did yesterday. It didn't feel as smooth / powerful. Like he really. It looked like there was a lot of stop and start and a lot of jankiness in the stride, and so I was just I'm not making too much of it. Just an observation.
A weird day, and I know there was some of this yesterday too, where at times it almost looked like he was playing wing and not center. I will say on the positive side, he seems super duper chatty with Kelly and Kiviranta. I asked Kelly about it, and he's like, "Yeah, he can't really speak English, but he seems to understand it all right." So.
Yeah, it was funny. We talked about this on yesterday's show. We wanted to talk to him, and it was like. He doesn't speak any English, negative English.
Yeah. No
positive interactions. And then Kelly was like, he's pretty funny. Yeah. I'm like, how do you know he's pretty funny? Because he makes hand gestures at you? Do you think every child in existence is hilarious then? Oh, what is that? That's so rude. Tiff just made a hand gesture at me. That was so rude.
You get a lot of cross in a hand gesture.
Yeah. All right. That's touche.
Point made.
Yeah. One point in particular.
It's not like we saw anything so bad that like he's about to lose the 4C spot or anything. Again, those decisions won't get made until pre-game, game 4, 5, 6. So don't read too much into it, but definitely something to write down in the notebook. The next line is that Magna Felleber Brindley line. I do want to touch on that a little bit, mostly just Gavin Brindley. I thought he looked really, really good in the drills portion. And every day they do drills and then they do the game situation-y stuff on the other sheet of ice. Not nearly as good of a day for Brindley in the actual game situation stuff today.
No, I would agree with you. This was, I mean, it's like the fourth day on ice or something like that. And it's like this was his worst showing.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to have one.
Four is not a big sample size, but yeah.
So he's been really, really good up to this point. I just didn't think it was nearly as solid of a day. Just a little, the level dropped a little bit.
Yep.
And I think we've been hype on him for a solid
long
week
enough,
now,
yeah.
That it's like, hey, like we've always put that caveat of we don't think he's making the roster. We don't think he's ready to make the roster.
Yeah.
I think when you see a guy's level drop in training camp, it makes you nervous about that.
Yep. again, that consistency conversation comes into play
Yeah,
there.
we talk a lot about depth guys and, hey, you've got to be able to be this guy for 7 out of every 10 games, and then the other 2 games are really good, and then you're allowed to have 1 bad game. Somewhere in that range, right?
Yep.
That's how guys stick in the league, is if you can just do that and you follow that model. And if you can't even put 2 together, 2 solid days of training camp together,
It's hard to expect you to put 2 solid games
yeah,
together.
it puts you behind an 8 ball where they're like, okay, like we'll see how this 3rd day goes.
Yep.
But it is a lost opportunity there, and like Jason Megna's not on an NHL deal. He's comfortable with where he is. He's going to be in Loveland for leadership purposes. Ty Felleber, he's a good AHL player.
That is how I would put it as well. We do got to pay a few bills there. Look, I try to have 3 good days in a row, not eating fast food and terrible stuff for me. If you need help doing that, go get yourself Monarch Money, because Monarch Money will show you how many dollars you're spending on fast food, or divvy it up into all different types of categories so you can see exactly how you spend your money every single month. You can jump in with Monarch Money today. They're great at what they do. It's like a financial command center where you can see everything, not just what you're spending, but you can see your accounts, your investments, and all of the good stuff you need to make sure you're getting into the right spending habits. So make sure you jump in with Monarch Money. It's been rated one of the best budgeting apps out there, including the best budgeting app in 2025 by Wall Street Journal. Forbes rated it the best app for couples, and CNBC named it one of the top finance tech companies in the world. So make sure you're jumping in with Monarch Money, and you can get a great deal right now. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code DNVR at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year with code DNVR at monarchmoney.com. Once you're taking care of all your money, making sure all of it looks good and going in the right places, maybe you're trying to save up for a car and make it the official vehicle of DNVR with Toyota. You can jump in on any type of vehicle. They've got trucks, SUVs, sedans, hatchbacks, whatever you might need. Toyota has your vehicles covered. Whether you're conquering the off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you, like the new 2025 Tacoma and the return of the 2025 iconic Land Cruiser. They have 17 different models with all-wheel drive, so they can trust your wheels on the road or, off-roading, if that's your thing. Not really my thing. I like driving on roads. I feel safe there, all right? Toyota will make sure you get good mileage on those roads with the most vehicles with 0 or low emissions of any automaker out there. 16 different hybrids, even trucks like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. They've got you covered. So take command on the road or the trail with a Toyota. Visit your Front Range stores, including AutoNation Toyota, Rathbone, Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We'll wrap up Group 1 here. I'm curious your thought. Anything to say about Ivan today, AJ?
Not a lot. I think Ivan's such a tough one because he's effective in games because he's so smart and he's always in the good positions.
Right.
He's got decent size. He does a little. He's like a mediocre jack of all trades. Like, you don't look at one specific thing and say, God, he's really good at that. But he's always in the action and he's always in the right place because he reads the play really well. But his actual traits, he's skating, he's shooting,
none of
passing.
them really pop that much.
None of the basic stuff really jump off the ice and say, all right, you got to put this guy in the lineup. But there's a consistency there, and I think it's fine. He's one of these guys that they're looking at as potential center depth for them.
Yep.
I like him more than I like Nikita Prischapov today. I don't know how much longer that will be true.
I would say that's true of 2 days of camp.
Yes.
Because Ivan didn't play in the rookie stuff, obviously, so
Right.
we don't really have that mark. I would agree with that. I think it's, to me, both him and Prischapov, if I'm being honest, have fallen into the background a little bit with Bardakov in that spot, and even the small star line in Group 2, which we'll get to, has been more interesting in drills, in training camp situations.
Yeah, definitely. That's a line that is going to really excel in training camp, and then when it gets into a game, you're going to be like, oh, this isn't quite as good.
They have to go into the boards with someone, and things change real fast.
Yeah, when the coach isn't chucking a puck into the corner that they can get a head start on. They know it's going to be there, and they can use their speed to win that battle, and they have to actually like anticipate and do all the hockey things. Yeah, it's good. Very different world for them.
An interesting note for both groups. Jared Bednar, a lot of individual coaching at times on different drills, pulling guys aside, and obviously we can't hear them from where we're at, but we see them pointing around, having the conversation of what to do on a drill or what a player's expectation should be on when they're in this position. How much of a ramp up is that? Because day one, you didn't see him do a ton of that. All right, it's the first day on the ice. Everyone's getting back, getting loose. But it seems like day two, hey, time to get into this. Let's clean things up.
It is because they've got the unique schedule this year where they play 2 of their 6 preseason games on Sunday.
Day one, yeah.
So there's not like that usual like, okay, well, you play a preseason game and then there's a couple days off and then you send in one on the road.
Yeah.
Like they're playing 2 games in the same day, so they're going to be looking at cuts Sunday night.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're going to be making them, but they're going to be looking to cut it down. And so the coaching process, it needs to get going. And I think you see it. We saw him with the entire line, Cooper Gay, Ivan, Jason Poland, pulled them aside and talked to them. And then the Gavin Brindley, Zakhar Bardakov pulls all of them aside and talks to them. Those are all guys that have potential to be in the NHL this season at some point.
Some of them will get NHL games for sure, yeah.
He wants to get them, all right, here's what I want, here's what I'm seeing, here's what I want you to be doing, here's where you need to be going, this is what's up. And I think that is exactly what you need. Like a lot of the NHL guys, they know what's going on. You don't really need to get them like up to speed.
Yeah.
I am mostly fascinated. How are you communicating things with Bardakov?
Yeah, how much of this is point and figure it out?
Parker Kelly said he thinks that he understands it well enough that he's retaining it and he's getting it, but I guess my own just curiosity.
Yeah.
I want to know how true that actually is.
Well, we'll find out when he gets into games, and
either
he's with the systems or he's not, I suppose.
Yeah, but a lot of hands-on for Jared Bednar today, and I would imagine tomorrow will be like that, and then when they do power play install, I think we're going to see the Dave Haxtell show take over.
Yep. Go listen to our Bednar interview for more on that. Group 2. You ever watch someone go so good at something it makes you angry?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like watching the McKinnon-Necas-Nichushkin line today.
Yeah.
They were tearing things up.
Do you want to talk about defense from the first group?
I was going to save it since we talked to Manson later.
Fair enough.
We'll have the
interview, we'll do that. Smart. Yes, the Nichushkin-McKinnon Necas line, and it's not like, oh, Nathan McKinnon was great. All 3 of them.
Yeah, the whole line was ridiculous.
Yeah, all 3 of them put the backpack on and then split duties. It was impressive. I didn't really write about any of them yesterday. We didn't really talk much about them on the show where we were just like, well, sometimes Nathan McKinnon just does stuff, and you're like, all right, well, that's weird.
We did get the first Nathan McKinnon angry outburst of the season.
It was a good one. It wasn't his usual, like he slams it on the boards or he tries to break it over the bench. Full on, spun it around and chucked it at the wall, and then kind of did like a little circle and then went and got it and picked it up.
Cooled off for a sec.
Slowly worked his way back into the drill where he needed to be playing defense, and then nobody noticed because he doesn't play defense anyway. No, I mean, it was a really it was a good stick throw. I was into it. I was like, yeah, Nate.
Feel the energy on that one.
Yeah.
The Drury, Olofsson, Colton line. I really liked Ross Colton today. He went on a stretch of like 4 drills where he just didn't miss.
Yeah.
Which is fun to watch. But I'll what are your thoughts on that one, especially with the learning from Bednar? Hey, he's open to trying Olofsson up and down the top 9 potentially.
I think they should be doing the same thing with Ross Colton.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
Like there are times where Ross Colton's really going, and it's like just jump him up there.
Yeah.
And he's got experience playing next to Nathan McKinnon, so you could move him up there. And then with Victor Olofsson, I think it's almost more about protection.
Sure.
Like, yes, he has the ability to score goals. He's a very good shooter, but it also limits.
Needs to be in the right situation.
Yeah, it also limits what you're asking Olofsson to do as part of a third line, which you traditionally want to be more of a checking line. And if you were to put him in your top 6, you're saying, okay, well, yeah, you're going to face better competition, but you're going to have way better teammates, and it's going to kind of...
When Nathan McKinnon has a 66% Corsi 4 and is spending every shift in the offensive zone.
Exactly. and oh, hey, they're all going to obsess over trying to lock this guy down.
Right.
Victor Olofsson's going to be able to sneak around and use that one-timer really nicely. That, I think, is different. That puts them in a really good position. And then you would be able to put a Landeskog, a Nichushkin, or a Lehkonen. And that guy's on your third line. You're very good defensively all of a sudden with Jack Drury and one of those 3 guys.
We know the blender will come out pretty quickly in the season of what works, what doesn't, what situation it calls for. The lines will be mix and matched on the regular. So
yeah, and so far, I think Colton and Olofsson have had really good days. Jack Drury's been fine.
I would agree.
I'd fine.
Say it's the good way to put it.
Yeah. I haven't been bowled over, but I also haven't been disappointed. I think it's just been okay. Fine. Okay sounds bad. I think it's fine.
Look, it's our job to show up at training camp and talk about these things because these storylines do matter.
Yeah.
But don't make any hard decisions until you see someone play a real game.
For sure. Yeah. Also stay healthy.
That would help too. Just ask Linus Funk.
Yeah.
The small stars line, Gushin, Tynan, Barre Boulet was out there again today. I honestly didn't pay that much attention to them just because their spots are pretty much set.
Yeah, they're good quad A guys. Barre Boulet, I think, has the potential to surprise and steal some games this year in the NHL.
All right.
He plays with pace. He's a more natural skater than either one of those guys. And he's got a little more goal scoring in him than the other 2.
Yeah, there's some finish there.
Yeah, and I just think he's a little more dynamic overall. The entire profile is a little more dynamic. Like TJ Tynan's fine, right? But he's almost a pure playmaker.
Yep.
Daniil Gushchin is more quick than fast, and when you're 5'9", that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a really
you need
hard
more
thing
than
to
a first
overcome.
step.
Yeah. You need a better first step. And with Barre Boulet, I just think he's kind of like the best combination of the 3 of them when you're looking for an NHL guy. As like a fill-in guy, not as a regular.
Yeah. The last bit from the group 2 forwards, we talked about Prishchapov a little bit. I'm curious what you thought of Matt Steinberg today, because I think Steinberg is in an interesting situation when it comes to the group of forwards at this training camp.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a guy that, if you're looking for a guy to bring physicality, bring pure energy, not ask for him to do a whole lot more than that, you start to see the path for Steinberg.
Yeah. Frankly, I don't think I noticed much of Matt Steinberg today, and that's after I noticed him quite a bit yesterday.
He had 1 or 2 nice goals today that I remember.
So, it just didn't catch my eye, and this is not me passing any kind of judgment.
Of course.
Just so me just shrugging and saying, there's a lot of guys, it's hard to keep track of all of them.
When they're doing drills on both ends of the ice, you can only see so much.
He got lost in the shuffle for me a little bit, as did, I think, all of that line.
I would say that's fair.
I don't really have thoughts on any of Bradley, Humphreys, Prishchapov.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Fair to say. Do want to talk about the defenses from both ends. We'll include our big Manson interview there, but we do need to pay a few bills before we do jump into all of that. So let's make sure we do that. We got our boy Nick behind the camera alongside Tiff, who's pumped for this new sponsor, the Colorado Soccer Association. It's the official hub for 65-plus soccer clubs across the state. It offers programs for youth players, adult players, coaches, referees, and families who want to get involved in the game. Kids can kick off their soccer journey as early as age 3, so make sure you get in whether you're playing for fun, competing at the highest level, or exploring a career in soccer. There's something for everyone. You can be part of history with the 2026 World Cup coming to the U.S. and a new NWSL team coming to Denver, the Denver Summit FC, joining Colorado. There's never been a more exciting time to play, cheer, and be a part of the soccer buzz. So if you want to get involved, visit coloradosoccer.org to find a club near you and be part of the future of the game. That's coloradosoccer.org to be part of it. Once you're involved in the soccer, Maybe you need some new hats for your new soccer team, or, whatever the situation, you're going to want to get with Branded Bills. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, or even t-shirts, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. If you're looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They have a partnership with the Colorado State right now, too, as part of their campus collection. If you want to get in on that action, you can head over to brandedbills.com and use code BBDNVR for 15% off your order today. That's brandedbills.com with code BBDNVR to get yourself some slick new hats. All right. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Josh Manson is a really good interview, it turns out. You guys get to hear from him right now, and we'll talk about the defense on the other side. DNVR Avalanche Podcast, back here with Josh Manson. First of all, Josh, thank you for joining us. Obviously, the big thing for you over the offseason, you get that contract extension done. Why did you want to stay in Colorado?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, first, our family loves the city. We've had a great time living here. Everything that Denver has to offer. Second, I think the organization. Coming here to a team, as I've been in the league, 11 years now, 12 years now, you start to see that not every team has a great chance to win the Stanley Cup going into the season. And I think here they put such an emphasis on building rosters that can win Stanley Cups. And when we have guys like McKinnon and Makar, right, and you start building other guys around them, you bring in Marty and Nelly and Taser, and just Landy being back, right? Like, you start to look at these rosters and you go, well, we're going to have a chance to win, hopefully year after year for the next few years. And that was a big part of it. Like, you don't want to be on a team where you come into the season, you don't feel like you have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, because end of the day, what we're doing this for is to win the Stanley Cup. Rehab provides a living for your family, but the most fun thing to do is win the Stanley Cup. So that was a big part of it. And then, like I said, it just, how comfortable our family was here, how comfortable we are with the team and the other players and the other wives and their kids. And it just felt like the right fit for us.
Was that a really easy negotiation? Like, you guys, they approached you, you approached them, and it was just like, okay, well, we both want to continue this. Let's do it. This is easy.
I think there was mutual interest from both sides, obviously. I don't think a negotiation is ever easy. I don't think it's ever, I don't know. I don't think there's ever been an easy negotiation. That's why they're negotiations, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, we came to terms pretty quickly, and I think both sides are happy, are content with where we landed. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what I wanted. I know I didn't want to, push too hard. I wanted the team to feel comfortable and happy with it, and I wanted my family to feel comfortable and happy as well.
And the 2-year term, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're in your 30s, and you probably weren't going to get like a big contract even out in free agency. But how easy was it to just say, I don't have to deal with this now? You don't have to worry about the contract situation going into the year. You just get to go and play now, and total security. Yeah, exactly. I think over the past couple of years, injuries have been unfortunately a part of the way my seasons have gone. Whether that be unfortunate ones like my hand wrist last year, where it just not much you can do about it, or the sports hernia thing. There's been injuries, and so I think that was a fair negotiation on their part, where, hey, it's you're getting 33, 34 here, injuries. So taking that into consideration, I think we were both pretty comfortable. And they had Brent Burns this year. That right side, it's got Kale now. It's got Burns.
Yeah.
Malinsky's had to move to the left side. You're on the right side now. Is this one of the better right sides of a defense that you've played on before?
I think righties are definitely, I don't want to say at a premium, but they're a little bit at a premium. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't toot, but toot, toot your own horn. I think righties are a little bit tougher to come by. And so the fact that we have depth on the right side, I think possibly frees us up a little bit more. Obviously, I'm not a huge fan of putting people on the offside, but that will be what it will be this year. But yeah, I think there's depth on that right side. I mean, you look at guys like, we got Kale, we got Burnsy, who's everybody knows what he brings to the table, and I think Sammy will take another step again this year where he's going to be a good player, and then I'm just going to kind of do my thing. So yeah, it's a good right side.
Even if it's a bit of a reduced role from what you've had in previous years, I mean, it's pretty exciting to look at that blue line, right, and want to go to work and do what you do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm at the point where I kind of always had this mentality. I've never been a guy that I don't need the spotlight. I don't need to be the guy. I don't need to whatever, I just want to go out there, do my thing, contribute, and feel like appreciated for what I can bring to the table, and whether that be 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it may be, I just want to make sure that they're quality minutes that are contributing to the team. I don't need, appreciation for that outside of it.
We've talked on our show for the last several years, really since you got here, that the defense has a lot of wine drinkers on it. A lot of puck movers, and then you're the whiskey drinker.
Oh yeah.
I want to know, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Do you like whiskey?
I don't. No. I'm not a whiskey guy. No, I know.
So we need to figure out
just the saying a little bit here.
Yeah. Do you like, so we can accurately label it then?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know what you call it. A little more grit, maybe. I don't know what you say. I grew up in, Saskatchewan, northern Saskatchewan, in the farmer area. So it was I like to think where my upbringing was a little bit more gritty.
Okay.
Taser and Kale, they're Alberta. Kaler was Calgary.
Okay, it's like that, huh?
British Columbia.
Do you have a favorite alcoholic drink? One you prefer?
You know what? I grew up drinking vodka.
Right.
I've acquired a taste for wine as well. I've never.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
the wine drinkers are the gritty ones. We had
well, I don't know about that. I don't know. That came as I became more established in the league. My palate grew, but
the veterans are all wine drinkers.
Yeah.
The paycheck got bigger, so you expanded the palate a little bit, got a little easier to try things.
Maybe that's what it was, or it was the people around me had bigger paychecks and they were just paying for wine. I don't know what it was.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You mentioned the grittiness. Obviously, that's a bit of a unique thing to the level you bring it to on the Avs defense, but you also mentioned the injuries. How do you balance bringing that physical play with trying to stay healthy?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think anytime you play the style that I played over the course of 10 years, right, like things add up. It's hard to argue with that. So I think it's learning my body as I go, staying on top of things treatment-wise, trying to be aggressive when the right time approaches, right? Maybe whether that be tapering it back at times or not. But picking your spots, putting yourself in the right positions. But at the end of the day, I mean, nobody goes out there and tries to get injured, right?
Sure.
Like, that's not the goal. You're going out there to play your game. And I think the day that I take a step back and go, oh, I shouldn't hit that guy, or I shouldn't do this, I got to look after myself. That's the day where I kind of become less effective. And so I don't think that day should ever come. I think I kind of have to keep playing, to the wall every night, aggressive, in your face. And that's when my style is – that's when I'm contributing the best to the team, I think.
We've seen last couple days of training camp we've been watching, and we noticed yesterday there were a couple chances that you had to
light somebody up,
maybe lay the body a little bit, and you pull up on a team. Obviously, he's a teammate. You don't want to be doing that in training camp.
Yeah.
But you're talking about like trying to manage that. How do you think training camp has gone for you so far, and how are you feeling?
Well, those are two hard skates. I mean, today and yesterday was really, really tough skates. So trying to look after the body here the best I can. I felt really good the first day, to be honest with you. I felt like I was skating well, moving well, defending well. Today, felt like I was a little bit more tired, which makes things, obviously a little bit tougher to defend when you're tired. But it's good. It's good prep for the season because, you're going to get caught out there for minute plus shifts sometimes, and you got to be ready. You got to figure out how you can get through that. So, so I've been feeling pretty good so far. And I'm looking forward to, as this progresses and getting into some preseason action.
It's a more aggressive schedule thanks to the extended Olympic break in February. Is that something that you guys talk about in the room of like, hey, how are we going to manage some of this, off days, practices, all that? Or is it you'll figure it out as you go?
I think that's our strength guy, Alexi Pianosi and Bobby Lucas. I mean, they work with Bedsy and, whoever it may be, mostly Bedsy, I would say, to figure out our schedule and say, hey, listen, we got days here where we should be going. Here's days where we shouldn't, take a couple steps back, prep for these games coming up, whatever it may be. That's kind of all of them. And then I think as the season goes, we can give feedback and say, we're tired. We need a day tomorrow or whatever. And that's on the leadership group, right, to go in and kind of voice that on behalf of the team. But no, it's usually planned out. They do a pretty good job with that.
We had Jack Drury in here yesterday, and he told us that Jared Bednar is the calmest coach he's ever had. You've played for a couple of coaches in your career. How does he stack up to some of the others? And would you agree? Is he the calmest?
Yeah, he's pretty calm. I think when he's angry, he doesn't really raise his voice, and I think that's probably where the demeanor of calm comes from, where people kind of look at him and go, okay, this is why he comes off calm, right? Where when he gets revved up or when we're not playing well, he never yells. It's just a more like, it's a different tone, I guess you could say. A little bit, you can tell he's a little bit more stern. But then when he's like relaxed, it's like he's very calm. You know, he's very relaxed. And then you're like, okay, it's even more so. So it feels like the spectrum is moved, I would say, where he's like, yeah, he's a pretty calm coach. I've had some guys that didn't yell before, but I still think Bedsy's the calmest, yeah.
Yeah, we've had to, in the media over his time, we've had to like learn the Jared
what angry Bednar looks like.
Yeah, like the anger scale of because he'll go in and he'll say some things. He'll be really short with his answers. You know, he's always a guy that has been great with us. He'll talk a lot. So from your perspective, it's interesting that still not much of a yeller because there's always people that are like, we want to see him show more emotion. We want him to yell more. We want him. It feels like sometimes he just doesn't care, but it's
not that. I would say the best analogy that I can think of is like when you're a parent and your kid does something bad and like
disappointed dad.
The disappointment. Yeah, you're like you know they know better and you hold them to that standard and you don't really need to use your words. You can impose on them like that feeling of almost like disappointment, like you should be better. And then you feel it and it motivates you. And that's, I would say to an extent, that's kind of the way he goes. He doesn't get in your face and yell at you and try to motivate you. But he will call you out calmly. Like he'll say, hey, listen, like he sees the game super well. I think Bedsy's an amazing coach. He sees the way things happen on the ice and the things that happen in a game. And he'll say, hey, this wasn't good enough or this wasn't good enough or you've got, you can do better in this situation. And you agree with him because he sees things so well. And he doesn't attack you about it. He just holds you to a higher standard.
Is he one of those guys he can just give you the look and you just know?
I mean, yes and no. Like, I'm not really looking at him to be looking for that look. You know what I mean? Like, if I do something bad, I'm not looking around.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. Please give me that look so I know I did poorly. Like, no, I'm not looking for that. So
you mentioned the leadership group. Obviously, one of the big stories here of training camp has been Gabe Landeskog's return. There have been so many changes on the roster that when we talk to some guys, it's like they haven't even gotten to play with Landeskog very much. Yeah. Just like those couple of games in the postseason. Yeah. You've actually gotten to. You got to play with him in 2022 in the Cup run. Yeah. How important is it to have that one guy? Cale talked about it on Media Day, that the one voice kind of at the top of the food chain that connects everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's extremely important. He has that kind of aura about him where he can kind of lead by example. He can lead vocally. He can lead kind of in all facets of it, and he kind of puts himself at the top of the totem pole naturally. Like without even, if he didn't have a C on his chest, I think people would still gravitate towards him as like, hey, let's look for this guy for some direction. And we have multiple leaders on this team. We have Kale, we have Nate, we have other Taser, we have other guys like that can lead. Bringing in Burnsy now as well, and but you still kind of need that top of the totem pole, if that makes sense. And that's Landy, and having him there just kind of, I think it just shelters other leaders a little bit more, and he does such a great job of bringing everybody along. So yeah, he's going to be massive. And fun fact, I actually have never played in the regular season with Landy. I've been a Colorado Avalanche player
That is true.
4 years now, almost. And the only time I've
playoffs.
The only time I played with him is in playoffs.
How is it?
What's that?
Landy in the playoffs. Pretty good, huh?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, we won a cup together.
Yeah. That's you've speaking of the cup, last couple of years, you've had 2 first-round losses in 3 seasons. Jack Drury told us yesterday, toughest loss that he's had in his life. How hard was the Dallas loss, this Game 7?
Yeah, it was tough because I've lost series before, and I don't, it's hard to put your finger on exactly what made it so tough, but if I had to, I would say I think because the expectations were so high, the belief was so high. We had such like strong belief in that group of players that we were like, we can go all the way. Like we had that feeling in the room of like, we can win this whole thing. We have a really good team. And that belief was built after the trade deadline, kind of playing certain teams that were good teams. And when we were rolling, it was like, we can kind of take care of anybody, I think, And then we get into that series and like we knew it was going to be tough, but we still felt like we were in control of the series the whole way through. Like it didn't feel like we should have lost the series. And I think that's what kind of made it so tough, was that it wasn't like we felt we got outplayed or outworked or any of that. It just felt like we came up short, and it was hard to put your finger on why. And I think that's what made it so tough.
That's what makes it worse, is that you were in control of it so much and it still slipped away from you at the end.
Yeah, like game 5 we played poorly and we didn't deserve to win that game.
Yeah.
But I think we could have argued we deserved to win more than 3 games of the 7. You know what I mean? And that's where coming up short in the 2 overtimes, that stung a lot, right? And we find one way to win one of those, and I felt like we were probably, taking a 3-1 hold in the series, and we could find a way to win out from there. But just that's not the way things went, and
The team as a whole went through the blender when it came to injuries last year. You had 49 players in the regular season. Does that take a toll in the locker room too? Would a little bit of a healthier season help the Avs this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we can stay healthier and keep a good, solid group of guys in that room. Now, you're going to need guys. Like, there's no way around it. You're going to need extra guys. But rolling through that many players, it'd be nice to build a little bit of consistency. Now, that's out of our control, obviously. But yeah, I do think it would be more beneficial to have less guys coming through the room. Finding guys that will be your depth pieces when guys go down, because it's inevitable. It will happen in the playoffs. Guys will go down, and you're going to need other players. So building that kind of like that unity, that camaraderie, that throughout that mission to win, I guess you could say. Like those guys that are in the room, we start the season, game 1, it's like you're building this thing towards Stanley Cup from day 1. And when you keep that kind of like group together, you can build that for longer.
I am curious from your perspective in the room. You were not one of the many guys acquired or moved out in the middle of the season last year. What is it like watching the management, Chris in the front office, go through and say, okay, we're not good enough, we've got weaknesses, we need to make changes, and they actually do it?
Yeah, well, that's why, like I said, that's the reason I wanted to re-sign here so badly as well, was because I have faith in Chris. I have faith in Joe. I have faith in, Andrew Cogliano now working with them and alongside them in a certain capacity. Kevin McDonald as well. They're all like, they all have the same mission. They want to win, and they're going to do what it takes to put a team on the ice that can compete and win. And then when they see faults, they will address them. They're not scared to go out and, say what you want about last season, like not coming up short in the first round. But they grabbed a hold of things, and they did what they had to do. And I don't think a lot of people in the league could say they would have the, whatever you want to call it, the gall.
The intestinal
put your
fortitude.
balls on the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To do that, right? And they did it. And, you can say what you want. It's easier afterwards, but, like, they did it. They stepped up, and they were like, this is what we think can help us win, or we got to do what we got to do. And that was a big reason I wanted to come back. Because I trust in them that they want to put the best team on the ice to get this team to win a Stanley Cup.
Getting close to the end here for you, but the feeling around the team being in the room the last couple of days and watching it's been very high-paced, spirited training camp so far. How does it feel in the room? Is there a renewed sense of belief? Is there a little bit of anger from the way things ended last year, and you're saying, we want to use this positively? Nate said you can't live in negativity for the next 9 months, but you want to use it positively. How motivated does the team feel right now?
Well, I think we're motivated, yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, we come into the season feeling like we could win a Stanley Cup, right? Like you look around at the roster and the lineup, and you're going, well, we got a pretty good lineup here for game 1. And like you said, I don't think you can live in negativity. There is fuel there. I don't think I feel it the full effects quite yet. There's a lot of guys around the room. This is training camp. We're not down to the 23, 25, guys that are going to be really with the group for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So we're not down to it yet. So that full feeling isn't there quite yet. But I definitely, it's been in the back of my mind, not a negativity, but just a motivation.
Okay. All right. That'll do it. Josh, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it. Good luck on the year. Hopefully training camp continues to go well. We will be back after this commercial break. So, we'll get into some specifics on Manson, but I do want to point out first, a number of people we've interviewed that have either signed here or extended here all have that same answer of I think I can win a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I know that there have been some conversations like when the Avs go into free agency or like a guy like Jonathan Taves.
Yep.
Where it's why does it feel like the Avs always lose out on these? It just doesn't feel like the Avs are a destination.
Sure.
But you only ever obsess over the losses and the failures, right?
Right.
Avs fans freak out about every loss, but they forget that their team wins 50 games a year.
It's true.
Only
49 last year.
Yeah, 40. One for every player they used. It's just like a natural instinct to okay, this is where I could write a 2,000-word article, and if I have an accidental double space in the middle of it, I'm mad about it. That's what I'm thinking about, not everything else that I do. But it is interesting to hear more of these players when you ask them, you talk to them, and you say, okay, why did you want to stay here?
Yeah.
And this is a guy that played in two different eras for Anaheim, a very competitive one, and then the beginning of the rebuild that they're currently in.
The not-so-good one. Yeah.
And so I think that there's a really important perspective that a guy will get, especially when he's starting to get on the back half of his career.
Yeah.
A guy like Mikko Rantanen knew that he was going to get paid no matter what. Marty Necas knows, I'm getting paid.
Yep.
Somebody is going to give me generational wealth.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have enough offers, even from good teams. I don't have to worry about that. But also, Marty Necas has played on good teams his whole career.
True.
For the most part, right? The Hurricanes have just been one of those model franchises that always
perennial
compete.
Playoffs, lots of conference finals.
So he hasn't really had to live through that same, what Manson lived through, where some lean years at the end of his Ducks tenure. And you see, Zach Parise comes back in the middle of the season. He's like, I want to sign in Colorado because this is where I really think I've got a shot at it.
Yep.
And then, of course, a bunch of things unraveled. He ended up on Colorado's second line. And you're like, that's not how this was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. You talk about culture. Jack Drury talked about it yesterday, how organized everybody is, how on the same page everybody is in the Avs organization, top to bottom of, we have a goal in mind. We come to work with this goal in mind every day. There's not this drifting. It's not a wayward org where you're just what's the goal here? You look at we always call it the Calgary zone because they've been there for so long. Guess where they are? They're in the Calgary zone.
Yeah.
That's an 88-point team every year.
Yep.
What are you building toward? What are you trying to be? Yeah, you could say, oh, we want to be a Stanley Cup winner. You don't have the goods right now. But you're not doing anything to get closer.
You're not getting better. You're not getting worse, which I know a lot of people will view that as getting worse as a bad thing. But in the life cycle of a franchise, sometimes you need to bottom out to get high draft picks and reset the franchise as a whole.
Very few franchises get to do what the Rangers did, which was, hey, we're going to get incredibly lucky in the lottery.
Just win first overalls
and
all
then,
day.
And then all the free agents want to sign here. The best defenseman that they've had since Brian Leach grew up a Rangers fan and was insistent that he was only going to sign out of college with the New York Rangers.
Yep.
And they just get a free Adam Fox.
Yep.
Organizations have to work for that stuff. It's really hard to do. We saw it in Colorado, what it was like. Gabe Landeskog was drafted second overall in 2011. The Avs had the third pick in 2009 and had a generational draft class with Duchesne, O'Reilly, Barry. Then they add Gabe Landeskog. They're still bad.
Yep.
They add Nathan McKinnon. Still bad. They had Mikko Rantanen. They got worse.
And then they finally got better.
And then they got Cale Makar and everything was fine. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
Yep.
You know, it takes time.
Yep.
It's hard to do. It's really hard to do. And when you have it, you value
hold
it
on to it. Like
even
your life
more.
depends it. Yep.
You have such a different perspective on it. And I think that's where Manson is at this point in his career. He knows, I've got a handful of years left.
Yep.
I want to make those years count competing for something. And he mentioned, I don't care. I'm not Ryan Suter. I'm not sitting here saying I need to play 18, 20 minutes.
If they
tonight.
want me to play 12, I'll play 12.
Right.
Yeah.
I am going to play the role that I am asked to play. I'm going to do everything that I can. And I'm going to be the guy that I've always been. Yeah, there's a little chaos in my game. So what?
Yep.
Sometimes it's good.
True.
Sometimes I get the crazy eyes. Sometimes I get every team needs apparently a vodka drinker. So, and Manson understands his value here. He understands his fit here. And he understands how special some of the guys that are here are.
Yep.
And what the front office did last year was a lot. It was chaotic, but it tells a locker room, we mean business.
Yep.
We're serious about this. We want to win a championship again. And we're going to keep pouring assets into it to keep trying to get there, to climb back to that mountaintop. It's hard to do. It's hard to push all the right buttons.
You can't get there if you don't at least try to push the right buttons.
Yeah,
so.
you look at some of the teams that kind of sit around. What did the Winnipeg Jets do this summer?
Sign Jonathan Taves. Whoop-de-doo.
And lose Nikolai Ehlers, their most efficient 5v5 scorer. What did the Minnesota Wild do? They finally have those two huge contracts. They got $14 million extra in cap space. What'd they do?
Get turned down by Kirill Kaprizov.
What'd they do? It's hard to do. It's hard to get players to want to be in your organization. It's hard to get impact guys. And Josh Manson's not the high-level, super underrated defensive defenseman that he was. He should be more suited to the third pairing role that they are likely to have him be playing this year.
Yep.
But it's a good group, it's a deep group, and everybody that we keep talking to in this camp this preseason has a different level of belief. It just feels like I look at this roster and I go, Jesus.
Pretty good.
I keep thinking of the Drew Doughty quote
same.
from the Stadium
How
Series
do these guys
game.
have so many pretty good players?
Yep, exactly. It's just a good roster. Top to bottom, it's a good roster, and there's a couple of psychos.
There are a few psychos. Manson might be one of them.
What did Brent Burns say yesterday? He said there's a lot of wows.
Yeah.
A lot of wows.
Get into the rest of that defense today. Manson looked fine. Maybe not quite as eating people alive as he was day one.
And it was funny to hear him say, I was tired.
Yeah.
And you're like, welcome to your 30s, pal.
Obviously, Taves and Makar. I don't know that we need to talk about there. But Malinsky and Burns are two guys I want to mention. Malinsky we talked to after. And, I think there's a very real. Even Malinsky was like, it feels weird to play on my offside.
Yeah.
There's going to be an adjustment period, so.
I would imagine trying to play in the NHL on your offside when you've never really done it is like when an American goes to England and has to drive on the other side of the road. Where you're like, I have the basic knowledge of how to perform the task, but I'm spending all of my time going, I need to be over here. This is where I need to be. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's not a natural thing. Your natural reactions aren't going to be there yet. It's going to take some time until it becomes more understood.
Some of the rental car companies at the airport in the UK I see, they put a band on you to remind you that you drive on the left in England.
That's not going to help me, man.
But I'm saying maybe Malinsky needs to do that.
Yeah. Kiefer Sherwood had the Michael Jackson glove. He
Yeah.
needs the UK car rental company band.
Need the key dangling off of his left wrist so we remember.
Whatever it's going to take. So I think it's going to be weird, and I think he should play. I would probably play him 5 preseason games.
Yeah, just get him as much time as possible.
Get him in
for sure.
all of them
Yep.
to try and get him closer to being comfortable driving on the wrong side of the road.
We are headed into overtime here, so make sure you continue the conversation online at thednvr.com. The other one, Brent Burns. Brent Burns.
Thought he was really good yesterday. I thought he was not so good today.
Not as good. Not as good today.
The same thing that we've seen happen with Brent Burns his entire career. Sometimes he just gets walked in transition.
Yep.
Because he just stops moving the feet as much. He starts reaching. He's 6'5". I was joking on Twitter yesterday that he's the pterodactyl plus.
Yep. Well, and this is
He can get away with that a lot of times, and when it goes wrong, we saw it today. Sometimes a guy just dances right around him.
This is the interesting thing, or rather, I should just say, Brent Burns is a really interesting archetype of player.
Yeah.
Really good on PK defense.
Yeah.
Pretty bad at 5v5 defense.
Yeah.
But still drives a lot of play the right direction, has impact offensively, does a lot of those good things. But,
shoots a lot.
Yeah, ridiculous volume shooter. But I do think the question still exists of how does the Avs' bottom two pairings all fit together at the end of the day? What ends up gelling? I know right now things are a little bit in flux because they don't want to play Girard and Manson together, and now Girard should be back for the start of the season but won't be there for preseason games.
Right, is not getting the reps right now to try and figure out, okay, is Girard Burns
Gonna work.
a viable option?
Right. So you kind of have to muddle your way through that. You're muddling your way through Malinsky on the left side. There's going to be – I don't think that it's going to be bad by any stretch of the imagination, but there's going to be a period of time where things are unclear on exactly what their defense is going to look like.
Okay. I think that that's true. It's interesting to be like, we know who the guys are, but we don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
So.
And that's – how long do you think the leash is with Malinsky on the left? Because Bednar said they're going to give him time. Everyone understands the score, but at a certain point, when does it become too long?
I'm old enough to remember when Jared Bednar was going to give Alex Newhook time as the second-line center to see how that was going to go.
Yeah, how long did that last?
And it lasted like 9 seconds.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even long enough for you to be like he failed at it. It was just like they pulled the plug.
They just didn't, yeah.
So, like, I don't know how meaningful that is to me. I also think that the Avs are still out there looking for that
waiver claim,
left shot D, and if they find a guy on waivers that they like, then I think we'll see one brought in. And if there is a deal out there of some kind, like a preseason deal, I don't know who it is, but I keep seeing some team scout walking around here taking notes, taking detailed notes on Avs camp.
Yep.
So
they're looking at something.
Yeah, they're watching something. I also, one of the other guys on the defense that I did want to talk about today, Alex Gagne, I like him. I think that it's a little slow first step. It's a little. I've seen him not be able to get where he wants to be as quickly as he should. And when you're 6'5", like you can get away with some of that because again, reach.
Yep.
But. I find myself more and more intrigued with Alex Gagne.
Dear diary, AJ liked another big defensive D today.
I mean, yar who yar, buddy.
Live it.
I mean, it was Hank Kemp last week. It's Alex Gagne this week. I even liked Keaton Middleton yesterday.
You did. That's true. At least you know what you like, all right?
I mean, I'm a sucker.
You're not muddling through. You're like, that is what I want.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah. So I'm just looking for the next Essa Lindell.
Yeah, if those just grew on trees, wouldn't that be nice?
Or Liam Bichel.
Even if those grew on trees, it would be great. I think I'd prefer Essa Lindell in every situation.
That's a big-ass tree. For either one of those guys to grow on, that's a big-ass tree.
They grow for a while. That's all I had. Anyone I missed? Anyone you wanted to touch on for day 2?
I'm just double-checking my list.
Yep.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm good.
All right. We'll wrap up for the day then. Again, highly recommend you go check out the other interviews. The Manson one was great. The Drury one on our show yesterday was great.
Yeah.
A ton from the locker room and stuff the last 2 days too, especially if you want answers from Landeskog or answers about Landeskog. They're in just about every single interview. So go check out those. Also, support Big Brothers Big Sisters of America before we get out of here.
Yes.
Super awesome organization. Go donate to them. There's a link on the sidebar or a link down in the description. If you really love them, you can become a big, help the kids out. It's a great opportunity to support the community and support the kids. So go give some to them. We appreciate y'all. That's it for us. This has been the DNVR Avalanche Podcast, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.